All right, and hello everybody, and welcome back to FWA 2025. We are getting geared up to start with our Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament. I'm Sinido, joined here by my co-commentator Silver. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I've played in this tournament the past 2 years that they've held it at FWA, so I'm excited to be talking about it now. My name is Silver King Otter. My pronouns are he and she and they because I'm greedy. And passing it back to you.
But yeah, no, we're getting started with some Mario Kart action. I'm very excited to see what they do today. Mario Kart has always been a very fun spectator sport to watch, in addition to just seeing it at other conventions and other events as well. I'm very excited to see what we got going on today. So.
Perfect. Yeah, it's always an exciting and fun party game that you can take as seriously as you want. Everyone understands Mario Kart, and it's fun to see how deep it can get as well. So I wonder what strategies that we might see emerge as we watch more gameplay. Now, we're in the middle of some round one preliminaries, I guess.
Yeah, preliminaries. Is the best way to say it, yeah.
So as we're continuing through the rest of round one, we'll let you know when we enter round two.
Yes.
But especially as we get into those later rounds, we might be looking forward to some interesting, unique strategies that we might be able to comment on. Who knows if we'll see anything as advanced as bagging or certain item management or crazy shortcuts, because Mario Kart's fun.
Yeah,
and no matter what we have in store, I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't know if we'll necessarily see bagging per se, because I know it's primarily going to be just four-person matches. It's not actually going to be like the normal 12 character matches, but so at least the item spread won't be as impactful as in those matches. Yep. But we do know I'm most excited to see some of the character and cart combinations that we got.
I'm excited for that. I'm expecting a lot of Yoshis, especially with all you furries out there. It's meta and free.
Especially Bowser.
With lots of colors, too.
There's going to be a lot of Bowser.
Of course.
There'll be a lot of Bowser.
We might even see some old heads with some Waluigi Wigglers if we watch out.
Cool, cool.
So let's see if we can take a look at our next match,
all right,
which we might have ready for us.
Here. Believe looks like the players are getting ready, so we are going to go ahead and get started into this next round.
We're getting it loaded up, taking one more second.
Yeah,
just to
I think
see
they're
if
on character select right now.
Ready to go. We're hearing the audio for it. We know they're getting ready.
Alrighty.
We are seeing 4 player groups.
Okay.
Here we are right now.
There we go.
Perfect. We have an Isabelle, a Yoshi, called it.
Yep.
A Mario,
a
classic.
Koopaling.
And a Koopaling. I like the Koopalings.
The Koopalings are sick, man. Their addition to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I know, had a lot of people salty at first, but like, I honestly expected them at some point. Like, they're just iconic characters that definitely deserve to be in a game like this, especially as we see with Mario Kart World. They're giving anybody an invite now. So, Cow fans, anyone?
There's a surprising amount of characters in the Mario Kart World roster.
Exactly. That's going to be fun. But we're on Mario Kart 8 right now.
We're on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Let's talk about the Isabelle, though, in the top left. Maybe Moshi playing Isabelle with, I forget which bike they used, but I did see the roller tires.
You know what I'm keeping an eye out for is if anyone is an inside drifting warrior like I am. I'm in the minority. It's not as good in this game as it was in Mario Kart Wii.
I love inside drifting.
It's
inside drifting so much fun.
So we're taking a look at our course selection. Each player gets to choose one course if there's a full roster of 4 playing. Again, we have maybe Moshi, Narpi, Chi, and Dial.
Yeah. I don't know the exact order that the stage selection takes place. I don't know if it's going to be just somebody gets a pick as they go. Or if it's going to be based on results or something like that. But we are only doing 4 races and not 5, so we can definitely expect to see some interesting course choices, especially if it's just free reign. So.
We're seeing some horn honks just getting the nerves out, maybe.
Alrighty.
Speaking of Wii, this is a classic track that I'm super glad was brought back. You know, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has such a wealth of time that people have spent with it. Mario Kart 8 itself has been out for 11 years. So people have had time to get used to this game, and the oldest tracks, the ones that have been in the base game, are ones people are very used to. But there are some DLC tracks as well that might be newer, or people might not have even had access to play before this tournament.
Yeah, no, Koopa Cape is definitely one of the fan favorites. It was definitely one of the better courses on the Wii, in my opinion. As we see, though, going into the underwater section here with the pipe, Yoshi has a pretty substantial lead right now overall. Roy and Mario not too far behind. Isabelle still keeping pace as well.
But that means you can get some really good catch-up items, especially because 4th, which is usually a high placement, and now third, can get items that are equivalent to last place, which keeps things very exciting and interesting with just 4 players and no CPUs. But our Yoshi's holding their lead despite a wall bump.
Yeah, Isabel was in second, but ran into an unfortunate fireball there from Mario, and unfortunately drops back down to fourth.
It can happen that fast.
Yeah.
So taking a look at the routing is important as well. I've seen a few bonks on that rock structure. It depends on the player what route feels best for them. I don't think one is expressly faster in this exact circumstance.
Yeah. Overall, though, we did see Isabel take the grass shortcut there with the mushroom, but Yoshi's still maintaining this lead and honestly pulling away a good bit. Narpi just really showing what they know here on this track.
Maybe when you pick Yoshi, you're a real one. Could be.
I'm surprised there's Koopa Cape and nobody picked Koopa Troopa. Come on, man.
A thematic match. We could have had a Koopa fan. Getting a trick boost, meaning, and snaking a bit as well, trying to get as many mini turbos as possible, which you can charge up 3 levels for anyone who doesn't know the longer you hold it. And the more mini turbos that you release, the more speed that you have generally going down the track.
Yeah.
So we're going to see lots of twisting and turning and seeing if we can get that sparking as often as possible so that we can have a lot of speed. Yeah, unfortunate bonk there from Isabel, kind of slowing her down from catching up to this Roy, but she's being able to make it up here with that triple mushroom. Dial still in second place here, but Isabel's not far behind. This is going to be a photo finish for second place because Narpi has this down. Get into this. I don't think Isabel has a way to get back in. Is she going to get? In the fight for second place, Dial took it with the Roy, which is a few more points. And at the end of these 4 races, we're looking for whoever has the most points. The top player will be the only one that moves on. So Narpi has to be feeling pretty good winning the first one. Yeah, 5-point lead here after the first race is nothing to scoff at. It's only 2 points separated from second, 3 points separated from third. But Mario has a lot of ground to make up here moving into the rest of this series. Just to remember the moment, this is my Switch, by the way, so I can keep some of these memories for myself.
Just upload everything if anybody records anything.
Waluigi Pinball, an absolute classic. This is someone.
Oh,
this is a course that's so beloved.
This brings back memories. I love this track.
And it's difficult.
Oh, bad start from Narpi there, unfortunately.
The pinball on the way down in the curving section is genuinely difficult to dodge no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how that plays into this race.
Is that pinball section, like, scripted, or is it RNG on which way the pinball will move?
The pinball does have a set track.
Okay.
But it's in a really good spot. It's almost always where you want to be. Something else that we're going to be looking out for as we encounter tracks with twists and turns is how people are going to manage collecting points. If you have all 10 points, that's about a 6% boost to your overall speed. So it depends on whether you want to collect those early or if you want to be taking close, hard lines. That balance is something interesting to keep an eye out for.
Definitely, for sure. And we see here Isabel with the bomb in second place here. Mario needs to watch out for this. But Mario does have a red shell to throw it. Oh, barely tried to hit it, but still hits Roy with the bomb. Isabel, unfortunately, missed her target, but it still ended up working out. Roy, unfortunately, dropped the fourth.
I'm also taking a look at Mario's item management. Having 2 protective items in first place is very exciting, even as Isabel jockeys for that position. A red shell in first is incredible. So holding on to that might be the move, but if they want to start sending it if someone passes them, that's a good time too.
Narpi eating that red shell as they try to pass Chi, but Chi holding a pretty strong lead right now, but definitely don't count out Narpi or the Isabel. Roy also very close behind right now going into this second lap.
And Mario's going for another item rotation, seeing what else they can grab. Now they're holding on to a coin item in the first slot, use it right away, make sure they're maxed out at 10. And holding on to a super horn is very useful for if the blue shell comes. If anyone who doesn't know, the super horn is a protective item that can be used against the blue shell or surrounding players.
Yeah, no, the super horn is a great addition to this game. Makes it a little bit easier to deal with blue shells, so that way you don't have to have frame perfect timing to dodge. But overall, definitely a good position here, but that wall bunk might put Mario behind.
That was a rough line, and yet we're still holding on to 2 good items. The blue shell does come. They had the super horn for it.
And they destroyed it. They destroyed it when it was going to hit Isabel.
Holding onto a banana still, leaving it on the drop. so that it was harder to see on the way down. That was smart item placement. I saw that.
Narpi dropping to 4th place here. Unfortunately, a little far behind. This might be a little too much for them to be able to bring back here with these items in 2nd and 3rd right now to be able to play a bit more defensively. Mario coming around this home stretch and closes out race number 2. Roy being in 2nd, Isabel in 3rd, and Narpi just unfortunately closing out in 4th. So just as we talked about that last match,
Close
Mario
points.
was last. Yoshi was first. This track, Mario made up that entire point deficit as well as Narpi dropping down as well.
We said Mario had to put in some work, and then
Yeah.
Mario put in some work.
So now we have a 3-way tie for 1st place going into the 3rd race. Roy also at 6 points, getting 2nd both races in a row. Isabel trailing behind a little bit, but still has enough point differential to be able to get back in there.
Super still in the game. Everything was kept very up in the air, and that means all players are on their toes. So we might be seeing some exciting races still.
Here's a real question. What happens if we get a tie?
What happens if we get a tie? Then we have the 2 players who tied face off
Nice.
in a 1v1 race.
I'm excited for that. Well, let's see if we can even get to that. Going to, which one is this DK Jungle Parkway? Or is this, no, this is the 3DS one.
Just DK Jungle.
This is DK Jungle from, I believe, Mario Kart 7 from 3DS.
That's correct.
Yes. Very fun track here. A lot of interesting pathing and maneuverability on this track, especially since this was one of the first tracks that introduced the flying mechanic and the gliding mechanic back in Mario Kart 7.
You can see a few people take that gliding route, and it is a useful route that you can take shroomless. I saw a few people miss it as well, so hitting that could be an interesting indicator of who is in the lead at that point in time, who's getting these small little cuts. There's also 2 pathways you can go here.
Isabel
One
with
is
the
safe,
star
one
here.
is risky, and even at high-level play, it can get very risky. That path is not easy.
Yeah, no, that bottom path, I've definitely fallen off that path more times than I can remember, trying to just cut in front of somebody to try and clean that up. We might see somebody try to take it as Roy unfortunately falls off the map there, but we might see somebody try to take that later in the race, especially if it's like a last lap scenario. Trying to get that 1st place, they might try to take that shortcut to make up that difference.
It's exciting whenever there's a shortcut right at the end.
Oh,
and you
dude.
can see someone cut right to the finish.
It's
There's
great.
one on Mushroom Gorge. There's one here. There's one in Electrodrome. So
Oh.
lots of instances where we can see a fun last-second cut. But Narpi is locking down a lead again, not to be shown up by the last race.
Narpi taking that. Oh, gets booed as
The
soon as
boo
they try to go
taking
for the
their item.
defensive play. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Unfortunate.
So something that you can do to protect against a situation like that is if you're holding on to 2 items and your first slot is a coin, you can keep that held in 1st place in case a boo steals it away from you.
Yep.
And your 2nd defensive item is still in your hands. I saw a banana
Ooh, right in front of the
next
double-
to that double box. That's
And-
targeted. There's
dude.
good item play here.
Good item play. Narpi, good maneuverability there too, able to get around it while still keeping their line solid. Narpi looks like they're just going to close this one out here. Has a very substantial lead right now. Roy and Mario behind, but Isabel coming back from 4th place, able to get back into 2nd. Oh, this is going to be very close here. This is going to be a photo finish for 2nd place here.
We had a Roy with a crazy 8, and we have a lot of red shells on screen right now, including some mushrooms.
Oh, no, what happened to Narpi?
Narpi?
What happened?
That might have been for fun.
I looked away from Narpi's screen for 1 second and saw them face first in the corner, hopping around, trying to turn around, and I didn't know what was going on.
Well, sometimes it's fun to crash the finish just because. And every once in a while it won't work out, and then it feels super embarrassing. Let's take a look at these point totals. Or we just took a look
yeah,
at these
so
point
Yoshi's
totals
at
and we're on our
11
way.
points right now.
Thank you for catching that.
I believe Roy is at 9. Mario at 8. Isabel is at, I think, 7.
Good memory either way.
I believe.
Royal
or Isabel might be
Raceway-
at 6.
Royal Raceway is a fascinating
this is a
track
fun one.
because there's so much grass. And because there's going to be some intense items like we've been seeing, we're going to see, assumedly, a lot of shortcuts. We're going to see people driving into the grass whenever they have an invincibility, whenever they have a mushroom, anything of the sort, and it's very lucrative on this course. We're seeing Narpi again with an early straightaway, holding onto a coin item and hoping to hit that jump into the ramp and hitting it. That was an excellent shroomless way to hit that shortcut. Now Narpi's holding onto that coin and also has a defensive item holstered just in case things get dicey. In the back we have Chi Mario with an invincibility star in 4th. That's part of the fun of the format. This kind of stuff can get interesting.
Yeah, definitely so. Narpi still once again showing that they have a very considerable lead here on this track, and they're pretty set right now. Now let's see if they actually hold on to this coin, but still unfortunately get hit there. They're probably going to spend this coin out to try to get ahead here. Goes up to 10 coins, and we'll see how this pans out with Roy getting the lead here on Narpi.
Narpi in a high position with being the only person with a completely full coin total is a great position to be in, because that means you can take those tighter lines like right there instead of just going a little wider to get some of those points. Holding on to 2 bananas is funny. So they have a lot of protection right now.
Yeah.
That is often difficult to see, or rare to see is the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not getting a coin there is definitely a blessing for Narpi here as they go on to the 3rd lap right now. Narpi kind of playing some camera tricks right now, getting a little confident, but that could definitely blow away as Roy gets booed there.
That was very fickle that
Very.
went to Roy.
Very unfortunate. It looks like
little grass hop messing up Narpi's line, allowing Dial to swoop in and see if they can take this and up their points total. Both going for the hop, and Narpi leaving a banana there, so anyone behind couldn't even try that.
Yeah, they can't even take that shortcut anymore. But we do have Isabel, triple mushroom right now, has a potential opportunity to be able to bring this back here. Needs to be very careful. Mario, unfortunately, I think might be a little too far out, but we can see what they get from this next item box.
We're taking a look. They hit the single item box.
Oh, Isabel has us. Red shell. Unfortunately, does not get into 2nd place, but Roy taking 1st. I think that might mean a tie between Roy and Narpi. Yeah, Dial and Narpi tying at the end of this.
So we are already seeing that tie.
We're already seeing going to be a race-off, I believe.
Anyone who is curious, we're going to be seeing it shortly.
Here we go.
So last I heard, it is a 1v1. And I think that was the case for previous tournaments as well. And we'll see if that's still the case as we follow through and get that set up.
Right.
Already we're seeing fun track choices. I think it's fun that we get to see people choose their own courses on things that they're interested in and want to play.
Definitely.
Like we even saw, like, Narpi was an incredibly strong player, but perhaps weak on Waluigi Pinball.
Yeah.
So you could be mind gaming. You could be asking people, what are your good tracks? What are your bad tracks? Seeing if you can get any further just cause, depending on how much you want to grief.
Yeah, it definitely, everybody has their comfort stage. And we definitely saw that there as Narpi had a pretty good position on most of the tracks there within that series, but Waluigi Pinball was definitely a shortcoming that allowed Dial to be able to get up there and tie those points.
Everyone has their discomfort courses too. So every once in a while, you can catch people with more difficulty on different tracks. Because some are just harder, especially ones, like I said earlier, that are DLC courses that people might have less experience with. Those city courses are tough.
Yeah, especially if you look at stuff like F-Zero, anything from Mario Kart Tour that they ported over, the lines on those tracks are kind of, what's the word for it?
I'd at least call them difficult.
Difficult, but also kind of like they're not straightforward in most cases.
Yeah, and
they're
you'll see a lot of courses that change between laps as well. There are courses that are different between lap 1, 2, and 3, which require a better knowledge of the course if you want to be racing it perfectly, or you have to have really good reactions on seeing where you're going. Depends on how professionally or how much $25 course pass people have at home.
That's fair. Yeah, no, a lot of the courses that they did add throughout the life of this game have been very interesting. There are so many courses in this game that, like, sometimes I boot it up and I'm just like, wow, I forgot this course was in this game.
Yeah.
Even though I played it like 20 times.
Yeah, there are times that I play with my friends, and then people are pointing out things and noticing, like, I've only played this once ever when it drops, because there are just so many that you can miss it for a long time. And a lot of people have favorites. My friend group personally is our Baby Park pickers.
I was just about to ask you.
Wonder if anyone will do it.
At any point today, do you think we're going to see Baby Park?
Certainly. I think it's a Hail Mary.
It has to be.
Especially if you're on the bottom and you want more points and you don't think that you can do it on other courses.
Pure chaos.
You might throw a wrench in someone's plan and see if you can get lucky, because that's kind of funny.
Yeah, especially with how much chaos goes on, like, a Baby Park. Like, that definitely can be, like, okay, well, I can go here, but now there are just so many items on the course that it, like, forces you to take a different line that you're used to, and it just messes everything up. So it looks like we are about to get the tiebreaker between Narpi and Dial here. I don't know if this is going to be a one-race series or multiple races. but we are about to see.
We're about
I
to
wouldn't
find
be
out.
surprised if it's just like a 1v1 on Mario Circuit.
Let's all find out together.
Let's all find. Or what if it's a 1v1 on Baby Park? That would be
A
peak.
1v1. I would love to see the item distribution for a 1v1 on Baby Park. Keeping it at 150cc. Are they choosing the kinds of items?
Frantic items? 1v1?
Okay, normal and no com makes a lot of sense.
1v1 frantic items?
Seems like we're checking for the amount of races.
Okay,
as an
looks like they
option.
can't do
Looks like
one.
They're keeping with 4. They might even just do 1 anyways, and then cancel out. We'll see how that works. The course selection's important here. I can only imagine they have to come to a consensus if it's only 1.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye out. Already
Yeah.
floating toward those cups on the right, which are a little more difficult.
Oh! Single
One
race here.
single race.
All right, and we're going to
SNES Rainbow Road.
SNES Rainbow Road's a tough
This is
one,
like,
too.
This is like choosing Final Destination.
I don't know if it's Final. I feel like Baby Park is Final Destination. If we're
Really?
being real.
Oh, that's so
Waluigi Wiggler only, Baby Park. Let's go. Shells only.
We're already seeing we're seeing Dial with a breakaway, attempting to front run, and collecting as many coins as they can, using their coin item, and they might even get another coin item here, which might be unfortunate if Narpi gets some attacking items. Narpi gets 2 speed items, which are very difficult to manage on a course with as tight of turns as SNES Rainbow Road.
But Narpi is able to take this shortcut here, allowing them a pretty decent position.
Holding on
triple
to
banana, though.
triple bananas is
Yeah.
interesting because there is still a lap to go. If they're crafty about their placement, this could be funny and interesting. Hitting a
Oh,
swamp and
big
landing
bomb
the bomb
there.
hit, so both players spinning out and keeping their positions as is.
Yeah, also, but Narpi did have at least a mushroom to recover back to top speed.
That's true.
So it didn't have to worry about the deceleration there as much.
Another thwomp hit
Ooh.
is devastating. At least they didn't fall off the track and are holding on to a super horn, but are ready to re-roll it for another item, see if they can get something more
triple green
aggressive in
shell
the
is
back.
strong. Narpi has a pretty decent lead here. Good green shell here from Dial.
They're taking shots. Oh, that
almost
was close.
cut off their angle, but Dial unfortunately throws a third one off the map.
You know if you're on stream, you're looking for a snipe.
Yeah.
It would be so fun to have a VOD of yourself hitting a green shell snipe,
Oh,
right?
that'd be sick. Oh,
And
takes
hit
a
that
Rainbow Road
shortcut.
shortcut.
Barely. That one is very hard.
He almost fell off the map. Dial needs a really good item here. Red shell here could make the difference.
2 defensive items on Narpi. That might be a tough sell
Unfortunately,
unless we see something crazy happen.
Yeah, oh, and Dial unfortunately does not close it out.
Well fought.
And Narpi progresses to round number 2. Congrats to Narpi.
Congratulations.
Great effort from Dial. Great effort from Dial.
Taking a look at chat. One of my favorite tracks. SNES Rainbow Road is a pretty dire course to be choosing for a situation like this. I'm not mad if I lose a 1v1.
That's fair. But unfortunately, in this case, it was not a Dial course.
Not a dial course. Who knows? Maybe there was a thumb on the scale. Maybe the choice was, maybe Narpi knew this is my track.
Yeah, potentially so.
Save it for the 1v1. That's funny.
I wonder how they went with track selection for that.
Yeah,
Whether
every
it was
group can
just
decide for
like
themselves.
something that the organizer had to run, or if they had to agree on it, or just like click random. Is there a random button in this game?
I
Or-
think so.
or no, you
There's
can set
at least
random.
one
You can set
online,
random track.
but you can
Yeah,
set
you can
random
set
tracks
random tracks.
beforehand.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're saying. I
Yeah.
know in tournaments past, when I was competing, everyone looked at each other and was like, "Is that good? Can we do that course? Is that fine?"
That's fair.
And it might still be the same, so everyone, because everyone each gets their one choice.
Yeah.
So you don't need approval from anyone else if you don't want to. If
That
you don't
makes
want to have
sense.
it.
Yeah, no, we're going to go to Music Park, and nobody can tell me otherwise.
Music Park used to be one of my tough ones. I grinded that one out.
It's
That
a
one's
hard
tough.
track. It's a hard track. It's one of my favorites for sure. What is your favorite track in the game?
My favorite track in the game is an excellent question. For a while, it was. I think the entire Star Cup is very strong.
That's
where
fair.
you're seeing Dolphin Shoals and Electrodrome and Sunshine Airport, things that are iconic. And when I think
Yeah.
of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think of those because the environments are so strong.
That's fair. My go-to for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe base game, definitely Cloud Top Cruise. Great track.
You're the best for that.
Great track.
I love Cloud Top Cruise.
Literally
It's such a fun one.
The last Mario Kart tournament that I played in a couple years ago at an event called KIT, which unfortunately no longer exists, they basically allowed us to pick one track just like they do here, and I remember just picking Cloud Top Cruise. That's the only race I won the entire set, but I won on my favorite map, so I'm chilling.
Last time I kept pissing people off by picking Sky High Sunday. Because it is essentially an oval, and that
Oh,
makes a lot of
no.
people pretty upset. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of good at it, so I can at least get in people's head
What
and
would
see
be
if I can
peak?
do that.
Is 4 baby parks.
4 baby
There's 4
parks?
baby parks.
It's happened before.
It's
It's happened before in online lobbies at least.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
If people like Baby Park, then they're about it. They're wearing a pin. They're wearing a propeller hat. They have a lollipop. They love Baby Park.
They brought their little brother with them.
Just so that they can at least blame it on him if they lose the match as well. Like, he had the controller, you know how it
Right.
is. Sun was in my eyes, controller all over my hands.
That's fair. That's fair. Do you remember back in Mario Kart Double Dash where you could set like an absurd amount of laps on Baby Park and do like
never did
9-lap Baby Park? It was great.
It was already more than usual.
It was already 5.
As is.
It was already 5. But you can
that's really
increase
funny.
the maximum amount of laps to 9 and do 9-lap
That's heat.
Baby Park.
Have you anyone at home ever tried doing where you and a friend both are driving on the same cart and you switch on Double
Yeah,
Dash and
I
try
did.
to switch item management and all that?
That
Double
was-
Dash was wild.
I
Completely
missed Double Dash.
like different from the rest of this series, honestly. It's and it was also influential because in Mario
Yeah.
Kart 8 Deluxe, in the original Mario Kart 8, there were single item slots, but in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, there are 2 again, which is
Yep.
why you're seeing like in order. There's the one that you're about to use next, and then there's the one that you can use after that. In Double Dash, you used to be able to switch them. In
Yeah.
this game, that's the order.
Yeah, imagine if you were able to switch between items again.
Completely different
That
metagame.
would change everything.
That coin holding thing I mentioned earlier would not matter.
It would a little bit.
It would a little bit.
It would a little
if you
bit.
had good timing.
See
I
the
guess
boo
if you
coming
could
in,
predict
swap
it.
items at the last second.
That might
Here,
be
take this
really
coin.
useful if you could always keep a super horn holstered on you and keep switching it off as you grab
That
other
would be pretty
stuff.
cool.
But we're writing fan fiction.
That's pretty
What
good.
would you like to see in Mario Kart at home?
That's a very good question.
What do you want to see in Mario Kart World, guys? Anyway, what we're looking at now is we're waiting for our next group to get everything all set
Let
up.
me see if I can
make sure all
find
their
out
controllers are
what one of the
connected,
groups would
and
be.
then we're going to see even more course selection, which I'm excited to see more of.
Let me see.
We are nearly ready. We're still in our first set of rounds. This is our big round 1, our preliminaries.
I think we only
and-
got one match left too, so we're probably seeing this one coming up next, I believe.
Okay, fantastic. So since we're almost set up with it, then we might be seeing it any moment.
Yeah,
Who
we
knows?
should be seeing it in a momentarily.
Wow.
Oh, wow, look at that. Or right into the game. And it's
Excite
going
Bike
to
Arena
be-
talking about tracks that are just ovals. This one I have a personal vendetta against because everyone loves it in my friend group, but I'm bored of it. I know
That's
it changes around a lot, but it is an oval. But that means that high-speed builds are going to be rewarded here, which we aren't going to see because everyone chose the same build. It's kind of a same mindset here. We have all 3 Yoshis, and again, I called it. We're going to see Yoshis. They're meta, and we're furries.
That's fair. Is Yoshi actually meta in this game?
Yes, Yoshi
Wow.
is meta in this game.
Look at that. Yoshi finally up in the world.
For all the Yoshi lovers out there, rejoice. We don't know if this will last until Mario Kart World.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But right now, Spence with a pretty solid lead right now. Definitely not too far behind with Alpine, but Carmel Shiba definitely needs to make a little bit of a resurgence here on this track to try to make this up. Excite Bike Arena is a very cool track. I think it's probably one of the coolest tracks in the game.
I think thematically, it is one of the smartest things that they've done for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And we have a good shortcut from Carmel Shiba, taking a cut in the grass, but still getting punished by a Bob-omb. They said, don't do that. Stay back there.
Yeah. It is unfortunate that Excite Bike Arena is kind of just an oval, but at the same time,
But it's faithful. It's a faithful
it's
oval.
faithful oval. But the fact too, correct me if I'm wrong, that the layout of the stage, as far as the bumps and stuff like that, does change.
Another shortcut into another Bob-omb. I'm feeling for Carmel Shiba right now.
Yeah, Carmel Shiba had the shortcut on that first lap, tried to get on the second one, but unfortunately ran into that bomb.
Taking a look at Alpine as well, I'm seeing really good items to have up front, especially for lap 3. This course is absolutely flying by.
We have a star on Carmel Shiba's side. This could definitely help them make up some ground.
I'm not seeing too many attacking items either, just seeing a lot of speed and defense. So this might be the standings that we're looking at unless we see some people recycle their items going into the end here like we just saw with Spence with a red shell, but Alpine has the protection locking down
That almost
first
was
place.
super scary for Alpine. If they had taken that jump any earlier,
You think they could have landed on it?
yeah, they could have landed. Or any later, they could have potentially landed on that red
It's
shell.
possible.
Yeah,
It's
that was
certainly
very
possible.
scary. But great stuff to Alpine. Spence had a pretty solid lead for most of that match, but Alpine able to close it out.
What I saw was good racing from all three, honestly, and it seems like we might have another set of close races if that keeps up.
For sure. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, with 3 players, I'm assuming you still do 4 races. I think that might be why we saw Excite Bike Arena on the first map, potentially.
Possibly. It really could be.
But regardless, correct me if I'm wrong, though, with Excite Bike Arena, does the layout change as far as the jumps and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think when you're playing offline, I think it does. I think when you are playing online, it might be the same. Don't quote me on that. I'm only commentating.
quote him on everything.
Whatever
Silver says is gospel for Mario Kart.
Well, something that I do know is true is that small bridge on Yoshi Valley is the fastest option. We saw Carl Shiba fall off of it. We saw Spence dodge it, not wanting to chance it for tournament play. Speaking
of Yoshi Valley, you remember back in N64 where the map was so big that you weren't able to see the mini-map? And everybody got lost?
The N64 did not understand where you were. This game, with our advanced technology, can finally understand what place we're in, even when going multiple paths on Yoshi Valley. I think Yoshi Valley is an extremely fun course, and
it's
honestly one
fun.
that I'm good at, so I can imagine that if you have this one locked down, it's a good pick because a lot of people might not even know the best path.
And it's a Yoshi race.
And it's a Yoshi race. All Yoshi, come on.
You know what would be great? If we go Yoshi Valley and the Yoshi Falls.
I don't know if our players can hear us.
This another oval.
Should we start requesting like bit tracks to see if we can get something funny happening?
Oh man, that'd be great.
Either way, seeing successful bridge management.
Successful bridge management.
Successful bridge management. Crucial bridge management. But people are racing this pretty well, honestly. Aside from a few falls, which is pretty acceptable on a track like this. We're seeing Spence collect another item. We'll see. It is a coin, which is to be expected when you're already holding a defensive item.
Another banana placement there right in front of that double coin box. But Carmel Shiba does have the star. They're able to take the shortcut now, potentially cut into second here. But they only have 2 coins, so unfortunately the top speed is not as high as it could be.
Absolutely, and we're seeing the other two with their 10 coins completely filled up. That makes, again, it's about a 6% difference. Something I actually like to see in Alpine is that they are holding on to that red shell until Spence has something to remove that protection.
Spence,
which could be right now.
Spence has a pretty solid lead right now. Alpine.
And it is right now if we see it come all the way through.
Here we go.
Did that red shell.
Did it die on the chain chomp?
That
it
red
died
shell
on the chain chomp.
Lost its way. It was wayward.
That red shell went all the way back to the Nintendo 64. I didn't know where it was. Oh, that one did, though. It found the target. Oh, Alpine unfortunately hitting the wall there, but has another red shell incoming.
Spence
Triple green shell as well. Are we able to see the snipe here? No, the boo steals the triple green shell.
But they just had enough speed. Congratulations, Alpine, for another tight race.
Alpine only was able to close that gap because of the speed boost from the coins there. With hitting that red shell, Spence lost some coins, dropped down to 6. Alpine had that 10 stack, a 6% boost, like you said, was able to just inch it out over Spence there in that end game. Almost
that's so exciting.
Devastating.
Yeah, that's so exciting. That's the kind of items that you can get with just a 4-player race or a 3-player race, no CPU like this. I thought it was locked down. I was like, first place has defensive items. Like we move. That's a position that you want to be in.
And we go Yoshi Circuit. Let's go.
We're keeping up the Yoshi track.
Let's go Yoshi Circuit.
Everyone's hitting their starting boost. They're diligent. They know what they're doing.
Can we get Yoshi Falls now? I feel like that's on theme now. At this point,
not in this game. We have to whip out our Mario Kart DS.
I swear DS Yoshi Falls is in this game.
DS Yoshi Falls?
Yes.
See how we're losing track because there's so many in this
game? I swear DS Yoshi Falls was DLC for Mario Kart 8 on Wii U.
Either I'm blanking or you're blanking, and that's very funny. Just goes to show the amount of options that there are for courses in this game. There's so many, and that means that there's likely a blind spot that your opponent might have.
I'm going to look it up.
Wow, the internet at our very fingertips. We're seeing Alpine in first again, holding on to a red shell for protection because you definitely don't want to be sending that forward in first place. Yoshi's Circuit has extremely fun lines. They send that red shell behind them, see if it hits anyone, and it did whiff. What I'm also looking for is anyone uses their speed here for this shortcut. I love that waterfall shortcut. So satisfying to see, and it put them in better positions.
Okay,
still holding on to another mushroom. Carmel Shiba hopefully looking to make an interesting grass cut. Maybe even around here? Yeah, that's what we saw.
Interesting grass cut, but unfortunately gets hit there, and Alpine does not make it back.
Carmel Shiba holding on to a banana in first place, which is simple protection. We see a coin follow it up, makes a lot of sense. Spence keeping on to using a mushroom at a really good time with one of those exciting ending cuts that we were just talking about earlier, and using a super horn to cement their position. One
thing we did see, Carmel Shiba looks a lot more comfortable on this course than the last two previous courses as well.
Maybe this is their pick.
Maybe this is their pick.
Maybe either that, or they're stunting on someone who where this was their pick.
Yeah, Carmel Shiba in second place right now has a real chance